Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, welcome to the ceremony for the unveiling of a historic plaque celebrating a site of national historic significance, the Union Club of British Columbia. My name is Hal Kalman. I'm here today representing the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada, of which I'm the member for British Columbia, and I'll be the Master of Ceremonies for today's event. I might add that today is a bit of a double celebration for me because I'm also a member of the club and celebrating its history. It's my pleasure to begin by introducing you to the members of our official party. Second from your right, Her Honor, the Honorable Judith Guichon, Lieutenant Governor of British Columbia. Immediately to my left and to your left, John Aldag, Member of Parliament for Cloverdale, Langley City. Sitting in the center, Her Worship, Lisa Helps, Mayor of Victoria. And beside Her Worship, His Worship, Niels Jensen, the Mayor of the District of Oak Bay. And to my far left, to your far right, Bernard Beck, the President of the Union Club of British Columbia. We have the honor of having some special guests with us today. I confess that I have not had a chance to speak to them individually. I hope they're here. First is Murray Rankin, Member of Parliament for Victoria. The Honourable David Anderson, former Member of Parliament and Minister of the Environment. Mr. Anderson, if I may say so, I spent the last 25 years being mistaken for you. And I've actually had 2 cases of false identity in this week. So it's an honor to be your lookalike. Mayor Ken Williams of the District of Highlands. Anyway, I want to thank all of you honored guests, members of the official party, and especially all of you members of the audience, and a very large audience it is, for being here today to mark this special occasion. And I want to give you a particular thanks for having given up a part of this very sunny and warm and delightful Victoria Day weekend to attend the event. I'm pleased now to invite the quartet, not the trio as advertised, the quartet from the Victoria High School R&B Band to lead us in singing the national anthem. Please be seated. I want to take a few moments to share with you the roles and responsibilities of the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada. Since its creation by legislation passed nearly a century ago, in 1919, the Historic Sites and Monuments Board has been charged with the responsibility of recommending to the Government of Canada persons, places, and events that are deemed to be of national historic significance. Members of the board represent every province and every territory, and all of us are volunteers who are active in our own communities in promoting the heritage of Canada. I live here in Victoria, and I represent the province of British Columbia. These ceremonies come about because communities, organizations, and interested individuals across the country bring forward their nominations for national recognition for consideration by the board. We meet several times a year to discuss the nominations that we receive. The general criteria for commemoration include people who have had a significant impact on Canadian history, and I should mention that several members, past members of the Union Club have had this. Places that illustrate Aboriginal and prehistoric cultures or are the site of important archaeological discoveries. Buildings that show distinctive features of architecture, methods of construction, and examples of special workmanship, such as the Union Club. And events or movements that have shaped Canadian history or which represent cultural, social, scientific, and other themes of Canadian history. And today we commemorate two of those themes, the first being the desires of the West to see the completion of the Transcontinental Railway, which would unite East and West, hence the name Union Club. And the second one is the theme of the private men's club. Yes, this was a private men's club originally, until Victoria's women helped the men understand what was proper. And the club, I'm happy to say, has been proudly inclusive for many years. The board is supported in its deliberations by the professional staff of historians, architectural historians, and archaeologists at Parks Canada. They undertake research on the community's nominations. The board then identifies which persons, places, and events that have been nominated are indeed of national historic significance. The board makes recommendations to the Honourable Catherine McKenna, Minister of Environment and Climate Change, who is the minister responsible for Parks Canada, and the minister considers the board's recommendations and she determines which nominations will be officially designated. Approved designations are usually recognized by means of a commemorative plaque and a public ceremony, such as we're having here today. So we're here today marking this commemoration because of the efforts of some members of this club and also others from Victoria and elsewhere who supported the nomination. And some of those people are members of the official party, and I'd like to now for you to turn your attention to the official party. I would like to invite Her Honor, the Honourable Judith Guichon, Lieutenant Governor of British Columbia, to please offer some remarks.
Good afternoon. Mr. Beck, President, Union Club of BC, distinguished platform guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. What a wonderful day to celebrate. And we've already done that for those of you who were at the parade. It was a marvelous parade, and what a great day for Victoria. And whoever organized the weather, I'm not sure, is that a federal, provincial, or municipal? On a good day, I guess it's everybody takes credit. Thank you for this invitation to join you for this special day and for the block party, which is a great way to celebrate. I would firstly like to begin by acknowledging the First Peoples who traveled these vast territories, living from, caring for, and respecting these lands and waters, the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nations, whose history, wisdom, and traditions we honor and on whose traditional territory we're privileged to gather this afternoon. Where better to be on Victoria Day than right here in the heart of the Imperial City, and how appropriate that we are celebrating the unveiling of the plaque marking the designation of the Union Club as a National Historic Site. And I may be one of few people who live on, in, or at a historical site, and so it is a terrific honor. The rich history of the Union Club is so entwined with the development of this city and this province. If only these walls could talk. The stories, I am sure, would not only reflect our past, but might even challenge Donald Trump's Twitters for popularity. So much of the narrative of Victoria was and still is one of the sea. Even today, as we build new relationships and develop markets for our products, It is to the sea that we turn for transportation. Our rich maritime history and the constant relationship with the ocean as we monitor climate change is vital to not only the city of Victoria, but to all the people of BC, for it is the oceans that we turn to for moderation and amelioration as we adapt to changing weather. 2017 is a wonderful opportunity as we gather to wish Canada a happy sesquicentennial, and I won't make you spell it. If you were, I was out of school, you'd all have to spell it, but it's just a wonderful opportunity to reflect back on the last 150 years, the rich history that has brought us to this point, and then to look ahead to the end of this century and what we envision for the next 50 years. I like to refer to Canada as a nation born mainly of conversation rather than confrontation, and connected by many threads that weave the rich, colorful fabric of our nation. We all acknowledge that we've had some black marks in our history and that we've made grave errors and injustices. But as we look ahead in 2017, it's a year of reconciliation, an opportunity all across Canada to work at understanding our past and to continue to improve our future. What a great beginning to the new era and a positive vision for Canada 2067. So thank you to the Union Club and the Maritime Museum of BC for organizing this very special Victoria Day block party and the unveiling of this plaque, because it's a wonderful way to celebrate our history. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. I now invite Mayor Lisa Helps to bring greetings from the City of Victoria.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Your Honor, Mr. Beck, honored platform guests, ladies and gentlemen. I also want to begin by acknowledging that we're gathered on the traditional territories of the Songhees and Esquimalt nations, and to say Haitchkasiem to them for allowing us to gather here. I also want to note that it's a year of reconciliation in the City of Victoria, 2017. And finally, happy Victoria Day. What a wonderful day for our fine city. I'm pleased to be here with all of you today to bring congratulations to the Union Club for achieving this significant historical achievement. In particular, the City of Victoria appreciates the efforts of your membership in recently completing this magnificent restoration of your clubhouse. I note that the completion, the restoration of this building completes a series of restorations which form our beautiful harbor, the Canadian Pacific Steamship Terminal, the Parliament Buildings, St. Anne's Academy, the Crystal Gardens, the Empress, and just completed next door, the Belmont Building. There's been significant investment in this harbor and in this area of town, and kudos to the Union Club membership for doing this incredibly important work. Beyond the building, I think it's also important that we recognize the club's long-standing contributions to the city, and Her Honor gestured towards this, not only to the city, but to all of British Columbia. So the Union Club and its members were responsible for founding the provincial park system, founding the Royal BC Museum, founding the University of Victoria, and founding the Island Arts and Crafts Society, which later became the Art Gallery of Greater Victoria. So it's not only this building which these members are leaving a legacy, but all of these other important institutions in our community. Today, I join all of you in celebrating and honoring the Union Club's important leadership in this community. And I urge you as club members to continue this important leadership role in social outreach and in community building cultural bridges within the community, and continuing to create Victoria as a place that is truly livable. Victoria is going through a renaissance right now. You can see it, you can feel it everywhere you walk downtown. There's hope, there's optimism, there's vibrancy, and it's because of our rich past that we have this rich present and this rich future. So thank you to the Union Club. And finally, I have it in my notes here to mention the street party, which is yet another example of the vibrancy and collaboration of the Union Club and the community working together to create a truly amazing city that we're all honored enough to share. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor Helps. Mayor Niels Jensen, would you kindly come give us greetings from the District of Oak Bay?
Thank you very much, Your Honor, Your Worships, honored guests, Member of Parliament, Mr. Aldag. It's a great honor and a great pleasure to be here to bring you the warmest of congratulations and greetings from our council in Oak Bay for the restoration of this magnificent building and also for the unveiling of the plaque today. This has been a magnificent building where people have gathered over the many decades for events, to make important decisions. In fact, just the last couple of years, we made our decision on our police chief. We had our interviews here and our deputy police chief just a few months ago. So a lot of things have happened in this wonderful building. But we have in Oak Bay a very special connection to it, and it's through Francis Rattenbury. He was one of the founders of the Union Club. He was a unionist at the federal and the local level. He was successful at the federal level, but not so successful at being a unionist at the local level. He went to the city of Victoria and wanted the farmlands on the east side to join Victoria. But when he was rebuked, he returned to his house in Oak Bay and started his own club called the District of Oak Bay, where he became the first councillor and the third mayor. And I'm the 27th mayor, so that connection has been there from the very start. I understand from the biography of Mr. Rattenbury that he was a very active social member. And of course, he was also very instrumental in the building itself. He helped select the architect, Mr. Rixford. He oversaw the planning and the construction of this incredible facility. But he didn't let down the side on the social side of activities here. He was an ardent member. And this was said of him, according to Ms. Rexted, who did the book on Mr. Rattenbury. And I quote, "Rattenbury was known as a jolly good fellow, a rowdy participant in the not-so-gentlemanly revels which took place at the Victoria Union Club. May the tradition continue." Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mayor Jensen. For those of you who are visitors to British Columbia, if I may, I'll explain that Francis Mawson Rattenbury was the most celebrated and one of the most talented architects of the early 20th century. In this area, he designed no less than the Empress Hotel, the legislative buildings, and more. But he didn't design this building, did he? Okay. It's now my pleasure to introduce John Aldag, Member of Parliament for Cloverdale, Langley City. I might note that before he held his office as Member of Parliament, Mr. Aldag was a member of Parks Canada staff, and it was he who arranged and participated in these kinds of ceremonies. Mr. Aldag, please come up and say a few words.
Good afternoon, bonjour. The Honourable Judith Guichon, Mayor Helps, Mayor Jensen, Mr. Beck, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs. I'd like to start by thanking the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nations as we hold today's event on their traditional territories. And I'd like to also acknowledge and thank my colleague Murray Rankin, Member of Parliament for Victoria, for joining us today. It's an honor to be here in Victoria to mark the significance of this iconic place. Today, we welcome the Union Club of British Columbia to Canada's families, a family of places, persons, and events of national historical significance. We recognize this site not only for its monumental design, but as an example of historic gentlemen's clubs across Canada. These exclusive places that reached their height in popularity during the late 1800s and early 1900s were places where the social elite could unwind, dine, and build ties that ultimately influenced the nation. When construction of the building was completed in 1913, the exterior of the Union Club of BC reflected the prestige of the club's affluent members. Judges, doctors, politicians, military officers, newspaper owners, and more. Over time, this impressive landmark has become an integral part of Victoria's inner harbour. From the grand stairway leading to the front entrance to the terracotta trim along the windows, the Union Club of BC holds its own among a number of majestic buildings that encircle the inner harbour. Buildings such as the BC Legislature and Empress Hotel, all constructed within the same 15-year time period as the Union Club of BC, create an air of enchantment that draws millions of visitors each year. As you know, this year marks the 150 years since Confederation, so it is also important to reflect on the name of the club. While gentlemen's clubs were not meant to be political, this club put a strong political statement in its name. The term union stood for the pro-Confederation leanings of its members. At the time of the club's establishment in 1879, this was a hotly contested issue. The province of British Columbia was still reeling from disappointment in the Dominion government. Plans to build the Transcontinental Railway were following behind and embroiled in scandal, calling into question the very project that had helped lure the province to join Canada 8 years earlier. With this name, the Union Club of BC pushed back against calls to separate British Columbia from the rest of Canada. As we mark Canada's 150th anniversary and Canadians turn to Parks Canada places and other wilderness areas to experience our national jewels, it is interesting to note that the Union Club of BC left its mark on wilderness protection as well. Club members initiated early surveys of the lands that became Strathcona Provincial Park and campaigned to have the treasured area preserved. It is an example of the ways the club benefited those beyond its elite clientele. It fostered relationships between leaders in arts, sports, and many other sectors who could achieve more by working together. Over more than a century, the Union Club of BC has helped shape the face of this city. The conversations that have taken place within these walls have in many ways shaped the province. On behalf of the Government of Canada and following the recommendation of the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada, I'm pleased to present the plaque today as a symbol of recognition of Canadian heritage. Je tiens à remercier les membres de la Commission des lieux et monuments historiques du Canada pour le travail qu'ils accomplissent avec tant de générosité et qui a conduit à cette désignation. I'd like to thank the members of the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada for their hard work, which led to this designation. The members of the board work very hard to ensure the pertinence of the people, places, and events designated of national historic significance. Thanks to their work, we're creating a rich mosaic portraying the greatest moments of our nation's history. Future generations will recognize themselves in this cultural mosaic. As our member of our MC for today has mentioned, I was involved in these plaque ceremonies and actually was always proud of the number of designations that we have within Victoria. And it's with absolute honor that I'm here today to see the Union Club join in with many of the other places, persons, and events of national significance that are represented within your community. It's been an honor to take part in this ceremony and to see evidence in the faces of the women here today that the Union Club of BC has endured by not only celebrating its lengthy history, but also evolving. I'm pleased to see this vibrant club continue to thrive, and I wish you a wonderful reception this afternoon. Thank you. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aldag. And it's now with pleasure that I invite Bernard Beck, President of the Union Club of British Columbia, to provide some historical background on the club.
Your Honor, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, we are here today to celebrate the designation of the Union Club of British Columbia as a National Historic Site. The Union Club is very proud of its contributions and commitment to Greater Victoria, Vancouver Island, and the province of British Columbia since it was founded in 1879. Our long-standing tradition of community leadership, we continue to focus on engaging in meaningful community experiences and commitment to cultural life in Greater Victoria. Our building was erected in 1913 as a strong representation of the Union Club's traditions and values. The building stands as a symbol of our past in building a strong Canada and a strong community. In preserving Victoria's prominent harbour gateway and the downtown core, the Union Club's membership has made significant investments towards ensuring the preservation of our building and maintaining its splendor. The commemoration of a historic site by the Government of Canada on the recommendation of the Historic Sites and Monument Board is a testament to the role the Union Club has played in shaping Victoria and Vancouver Island. On behalf of the Union Club of British Columbia, we sincerely thank the Government of Canada and the Historic Sites and Monument Board for their recognition and for this prestigious honor. Thank you.
You needn't sit down. It's okay. Because I'm just about to ask all the members of the official party to kindly come up and help us unveil the plaque. Would they, no, would the members of the official plaque kindly unveil the plaque that commemorates the Union Club of British Columbia as a National Historic Site? Please do us the honors. Thank you. I'd like to conclude the ceremony by reading the plaque text in both official languages, and I'll do it from the podium rather than from the plaque. First, in English. The Union Club of British Columbia. The Union Club, established in 1879, is an excellent example of a private men's club based on British models that became popular in Canada during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Its name echoes the founders' support for Confederation at a time when delays in the building of a transcontinental railway were fueling disillusionment with British Columbia's place in the Union. This particular building has served as a clubhouse since 1913. Its monumentality, symmetry, and classical decoration reflect the principles and characteristics of Beaux-Arts design and are well suited to the building's use as a private club. Et maintenant en français, l'Union Club of British Columbia. L'Union Club, créé en 1879, est un excellent exemple du club privé pour hommes inspiré du modèle britannique, très en vogue au Canada à la fin du 19e et au début du 20e siècle. Son nom évoque la position pro-confédération de ses fondateurs, à une époque où les retards dans la construction du chemin de fer transcontinental font douter de l'importance réelle de la province dans l'Union du Canada. Cet édifice-ci abrite le club depuis 1913. Monumental, symétrique et doté d'une décoration classique, il reflète les principes et les caractéristiques du style Beaux-Arts et s'accorde particulièrement bien à son usage comme club privé. Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada and of Parks Canada, I thank you very much for coming to this important commemoration. First, would you all stand for the departure of Her Honor?